everyone, it's Amanda here from Gilded Lily. I'm going to show you how to make some pumpkin soup because I know a lot of you got some of these wee pumpkins in your food packs this week. I'm using 2, if you've only got 1 that's fine. And you can also keep this in mind for next year at Halloween when maybe you're carving some of the pumpkins with your kids. Because a lot of the time we waste our pumpkins after we carve them, but they've got a lot of food in them, which is really nice in soup. And you can make pumpkin pie, you can actually make a pumpkin pasta sauce as well. There's lots of ways you can use pumpkin up. So it's all about trying to reduce our food waste. I had 2 red peppers in the fridge and I got some carrots as well from Gilded Lily from my wee food pack. So I'm going to use them, onion and some garlic as well. You can obviously use any other vegetables that you want to put in. So first of all I'm going to get started with the pumpkins. I'm going to scoop out all the innards of the pumpkins because that takes the longest. Okay, so I have cut open this pumpkin. I find the easiest way to do it is just as if you're carving it. So you cut off the top half and you've got all the lovely pumpkin stuff inside it. I don't know if there's an easier way to cut pumpkin, but that's just the easiest way I find. And I used a wee pumpkin carver kit that you get out at Poundland, but obviously you can use a knife as well if you don't have any of these. So yeah, what we're going to do now is you need to set 2 bowls aside. One is for the actual innards, this part, the squashy bit, and then you're going to separate your seeds from it in this wee bowl. This does take a wee bit of time to separate the seeds from the pumpkin because there's a lot of seeds, but it's worth it. So I'm just going to show you how I'm scraping out the pumpkin. Oh, this does get messy, so just bear with it. So you just want to scoop all of these inside bits out, just as if you were carving a pumpkin at Halloween. As if you were scooping it all out to carve a wee face into it. I've not scooped all of it out yet, but I'm just going to show you. This is what you'll be left with, and then you just separate the wee seeds. And don't throw your seeds out because you can use them, you can eat the seeds as well. I'm going to roast them to put as a wee garnish on top of my soup. Okay, so as you can see, that's me scooped out my pumpkin and separated my seeds. If you've only used 1 pumpkin, obviously you won't have as much as this. And I know that you can see there's still tiny wee bits of seeds there, but they're not even really seeds. They're not hard or anything, so it's fine. I'm going to blend it all anyway as when the soup's ready. So make sure that you've properly scooped everything out, so it looks like this, pretty empty. Give it a good scraping, and now I'm going to peel my carrots. Also with this part of the pumpkin, I'm sure that you can use it chopped up in a stew or something. I'm going to Google what I can do with this part after I've made this video, but don't throw these away because you can definitely eat this stuff as well. Okay, so I have chopped my carrots up, I've peeled them as well, and I'm just going to add them to my pot to boil for only 5 minutes while I chop my onion and my garlic. So I've chopped up my onions and my pepper, and while I'm chopping up my garlic, I'm gonna heat some oil in this big pot. This is gonna be my main soup pot. So I'm just gonna add some vegetable oil. Yeah, okay, so now I'm gonna peel my garlic and chop it up, and then I'll add peppers, onion and my garlic and my pumpkin to the pan, and I've just got that in a wee medium heat just now. Okay, so I've peeled my garlic and now I'm going to add my peppers and my onion to the pot and cook them for a wee bit first. I'm going to be lazy and use my trusty garlic crusher instead of chopping garlic because peeling and chopping garlic is probably one of my least favourite things to do in cooking, so I'm just being lazy. I'm using a lot of garlic as well because I love it. You can use as much as you like. So that's the onion and the peppers in just now. I've turned the heat down on this, and I'm just going to cook this for 5 minutes before adding the garlic, just to give some time for these to soften up. And I'm also going to take my carrots off the heat now. So that is the garlic being added. I'm just going to give this a stir. And I've turned down the heat a wee bit as well because the pan was really hot. Okay, so that's been cooking away for a wee bit. And while that was cooking, I did a wee Google, and I found out that the flesh of the pumpkin, like this part, is actually really good in soup as well. So I'm just gonna peel the skin off of this. I've done it with the first one. I've peeled the skin and I've just chopped up all the flesh. I'm gonna boil that for a wee bit and then add it to my big pot with my peppers, onions and garlic. And right now I'm gonna add my carrots as well to this pot. So I've put the carrots in and I've gave it a good stir. And I've cut up my pumpkin, the fleshy bit of my pumpkin. I've peeled the skin off and cut it up into little pieces. And I've got quite a lot. As you can see, I've got quite a bit left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this for the soup, and then I'm going to steam the rest of it. I'm going to chop up and peel this bit of pumpkin and steam it, and then I'll use it for a stew tomorrow, a vegetable stew. And you can find recipes for pumpkin stew online. It's pretty much the same idea as the soup though, you can just add whatever vegetables you like. I'm probably going to make a sort of pumpkin chickpea stew, or I might use it in a curry. Okay, so while the fleshy part of the pumpkin is going to boil away for a wee bit, so it can soften up a wee bit more, I'm going to add the squash, the guts, if you like. I'm going to add them into the pot just now. Okay, so this is the squash of the pumpkin. Getting stirred in with all my other veggies in the big soup pot now, and I've turned the heat up a wee bit as well just to cook this. And then I'm going to add some spices. Okay, so that's been cooking away for quite a wee bit now. I've made some stock cube. I've used some veggie stock, 2 veggie stock cubes, and I've filled it up to a quarter litre, and I'm going to put that in the pot. I'm just going to add some spices first. I'm going to use some ginger, oregano, some mixed herbs, ground chilli, some pepper. I think that's all the spices I'm going to use. You can use any spices that you like. You can add some turmeric or anything at all really, some coriander. I'm kind of running out of spices now, so that's the only ones I'm going to use tonight. So that's the herbs and spices in. I'm actually also going to use some of this Sriracha hot chili sauce because I quite like it spicy. I'm not going to use too much, just a wee bit. And I'm also going to use some honey because I quite like the whole sweet but spicy thing. You can also maybe use some syrup. I use quite a bit of honey. I've made this before and I quite liked a lot of honey in it. But yeah, if you don't have honey, you can use syrup. You don't even have to add honey or syrup into it. You can have whatever you like in your soup. Okay, so I've been leaving that to cook for a couple of minutes now. And my other pumpkin, bits of pumpkin are ready as well. So I'm gonna add this into the pot. Give it a mix around. It's all smelling really good and looking good. I'm so hungry. And I'm going to add my stock now as well. Just get it all in there. Give it a mix. So that's everything in the soup pot now. I might add a wee bit of water later, but I'm just going to let this cook. That's a good thing about soup, you can let it sit for quite a while. I've got a wee Zoom class to do now, so I'm going to leave it to simmer for about an hour. Then after my Zoom class I will come and check on it, and then I'm going to show you how you can roast these and put these in your soup or just eat them as a wee snack. But yeah, I'll be back soon. Okay, so that is my soup been sitting for, it's actually been near 2 hours now. Obviously you can leave your soup sitting for as long as you want, or you can blend it right away and eat it. I just had some stuff to do, so I had to leave it for a wee bit. So now I'm going to blend it, I might actually add in some milk or cream. I sometimes like to do that with soup if I want to thicken it up a wee bit. So actually before I blend the soup, I'm going to show you what you can do with your pumpkin seeds. I'm going to roast them in the oven so that I can put them as like a wee garnish on the soup. You can also eat them like this, or they're nice and tasty if you roast them. What you have to do first is just give them a wee wash just to get all the pumpkin off, and then place them on a baking tray. Okay, so I have given my pumpkin seeds a wee rinse in the strainer, and now I'm just going to put them, I've got a bowl here with a wee sheet of kitchen roll over it just to, so I can place the seeds on it, and just so that it can maybe soak up some of the water. So give it a wee dab, because you don't want them to be really wet when you put them in the oven. You kind of want to try and make them a wee bit drier before you put them in the oven. Okay, so once you've dried off the pumpkin seeds, they don't need to be totally dry, but just once you've taken some moisture out of them, you can just put them on a wee baking tray. I've put some tin foil down, spread them out a wee bit, and then you can cover them with some herbs and spices just to give them a wee bit of flavour. I'm going to use some oregano, some paprika and some turmeric, and then once you've done that, just stick them in the oven and keep a wee eye on them until they turn sort of golden brown. Okay, that's me blended the soup. It's all ready. You can add some salt and pepper obviously to whatever you like the taste of, and then you just serve up with the pumpkin seeds on top and enjoy.